Hi everybody, Kristen Farmer here. I am using something called Screencast-O-Matic today. I'm in love with it. I will show you some other time how to use it if you're interested, but for today I want to get into some basics about Synergy. So as you can see, I've pulled up one of my classes. All I did was log on and this came up, and then I went to period 2, as you can see. And as you probably already know, or maybe not. You just click here for attendance. If she's out, that's an unverified absence. Click again for tardy, and that's personal, I guess. I've never had to use that one. The office usually does that. So that's how you would take roll, and then you'd hit save. But for right now, I'm going to cancel that. What I'd like to do next is just kind of go through some of the settings. Of course, change class, that'll change it over there to whatever class you want. Go to current class, that's pretty obvious. I like to use this tool here, communication, quite a bit. Okay, you can see we are here under communication. You can always hit blind copy me on emails I send, but I want to warn you against that because then you will get an email receipt for every single person you send an email to. So I stay away from that. However, when it comes to this one right here, parents, I like to go here to students and parents. That way, if a student has their own email, I know they're seeing it as well. You can also pick this one that's new this year. You can just pick certain students. So for example, I'm not going to do that right now, but I do want to show you, I just sent out a mass email to all of my homeroom, all my social studies classes in my language arts class. So I just clicked on these and it got added to the email. So it was kind of nice that I can do more than one class there. But for right now, I'm not going to send any. So what I'd like to do is just take you back over here. So we were just right here on communication, and we're going to get out of that and go to the next part I want to show you, which is Gradebook. Couple things there, actually streams. I've never really used it, to be quite honest. You can play around with that later if you want, but Gradebook is one we use all the time for obvious reasons. So I just go to Gradebook main, and then it pulls it up, and if you want to do a new assignment, you would just go here to new assignment, and you would go ahead and do that. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, so what I want to do is, well, actually, let me show you this new assignment. Let's just say, oh, we're going to do the Book of the Dead. It sounds weird, but we're going to do that tomorrow. We're going to be starting that, the Dead, and that's tomorrow's date. I can even work ahead. It's a normal. It's not extra credit, so I just leave that on normal. And then it does show the assignment in the portal and then the due date. So what I want to make you aware of is, for me, this won't be due until later, but when it shows up in your gradebook, whenever the day you assigned it, that's where it shows up in your gradebook. So you can put a description in here if you'd like. The assignment types, which you're going to notice, is these are the categories that sorry, phone, that I have already put in. And that's when I said I was getting a little ahead of myself. I'm going to go back, and once I'm done with this, I'm going to show you how to add some categories that are of your choosing. Okay, so last thing is I want to go down here. You're always going to have to select which one it is. So a lot of times it's that one for me. You're going to have to decide, is it a raw score? I do a lot of that, so I have to say how many points it's out of in that case, and then I have to assign how many points it's worth. So keep in mind that when you're doing that, the big part of that, for example, right here, this is worth 70% of my grade in my class. Okay, everybody, we're back here. I was just talking about how in my class test quizzes and projects are worth 70% of the grade. So yes, the points are important, but just keep in mind that what you assign it to as far as which category in your pie chart, that's going to be even more important. If you miss any of these things, it won't let you go forward, so that's kind of nice. Now, one more thing I want to show you is you can always come down here and assign it, like for example, this is this class, but maybe I'm also going to do this with that class, which I am later, and this class here. So I could go ahead and assign it if I'm doing it on the same dates, and then it will show up in those two other sections. I also want to point out grading periods, because sometimes when it switches over from trimester 1, the 6th week, to trimester 1, which is what we're in now, you might get a little messed up if this isn't checked. If this one's still checked, it's going to be looking like your hands are tied when they're really not. You just need to come into here, grading periods, and check where we are now, which is past the progress report period. So that is how you put in an assignment into the gradebook, and then you just hit save assignment up here, which I'm not going to for today because it's just a demonstration. Oh, sorry, we're still going. Oopsies. Okay, so I wanted to show you this. Gradebook also has this gradebook setup, which is what you really should do before you start putting in grades. So here's this on mine. You're going to notice that it says grammar word study, and I'm not going to try to delete that at all because that is in my language arts section. If I delete it from here, I'll lose it from that section. So I'm just going to leave this one and this one and this one. And I'm going to come down here and you're going to see that, oh, I need to assign it. My spiral is going to be worth, oh wow, look at that. I hadn't done it yet. 30% of the grade, and my tests and quizzes and all that are going to be worth 70 because this is just social studies. It's that simple. And if I want to change the color, I can play with that, which I'm fine with the way it is. So I'll just leave those two, and you apply it right here. I'm going to go ahead and apply it to social studies, and to social studies, and to one more social studies down below if it'll let me. Okay, it's kind of cutting me off, so I'll do that later. And then I will come back in and I'll hit update. And now what I want to show you, hopefully when it stops thinking, is when I go into here, it says it's complete, so I'm going to go back into my gradebook right now, into main, and go back to that class. And what you're going to notice is they're all that same color, and that's because that's worth 70% of their grade, and I haven't done their spirals yet, which is 30% of their grade. So when the spirals go in there, it will be a different color. Okay, everybody, back again. I want to show you report card, which I think many of you have probably already done. So you're going to go up to here, and you're going to go to students, and you're going to go here to edit final grade, and this is where you also put in their comments. So you can see I already put in the comments. This is from the last grading period before progress reports, so it's all there, but you can look down and see it, and then you also beneath that have the grading key for work habits and citizenship, or yeah, conduct. So that's that. Okay, everybody, so as you can see, I went back to my gradebook main page, and I just want to show you a couple more tools that are very handy. For example, if you go right here to reports, there are a lot of really useful reports in here, if it will let me pull it up. Okay, you can see we're back, and I just clicked on reports and this came up. So I have a lot of options. I can do a detailed progress report, and I can run it for at-risk students, or I can run it for the students that I want to choose for that day. One I really like to use, this one's a nice one. You can print your whole grade book. I do want to show you something on that. It's nothing big, but it says run for all classes if you wanted to, or selected classes, and you could choose. For right now, though, what I want to do is come down here and just show you something simple. The default, I am in my 40s now, so I like to go to +1 so that I can see it better, comes out larger, and I don't like it to be on landscape, so I unclick that. That way, when I look at it, I don't have to turn it sideways when I 3-hole punch it and put it into my big binder. It's going the same way as all my other papers. Otherwise, landscape has it going, obviously the other way. So that's just one little trick. And okay, so the last thing you would want to do is just hit this run report. And I have to tell you, be patient and know this. You might say, where did it go? I did that once. It's up here, complete, and you have to click on this. And then it will come up. And this is, I just ran it for homeroom, so you can see it's very straightforward. And it's going the way I want it to, which is up and down. And you have that. And I like to just print those out sometimes. So that's that. Okay, so I'm getting pretty close to done with the things that I wanted to show you so that you can have some time to play around with it. So let me just show you that is right now set up to print the grade book, but I really like using this one. So that way, it doesn't want me to do it right now, but normally it'll work for you. Print grade book. Let's try that again. So what that normally does is it'll just give you all the student names on the left, and then you can just have it printed out with the columns already empty, and then I use that to pencil in their grades. I always pencil them in first because I like to have that so I can see if someone was late, because I'll do it in a different color rather than going straight to the grade book. Every once in a while I'll take the scores and put them straight in, but I do like to do it first on paper. So that's that. So 70%. Always stay humble.